Yo, what's up, guys? Coach Keatster here, and if you somehow didn't know, WizardRod is still one of the best blades of Beyblade X. So whether you love it or you hate it, you're going to need to know how to play it right. If you're enjoying the content, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support me further, please check out my Ratify link down in the description below. Let's get into the guide. So why should you pick WizardRod? WizardRod just has the best stamina in the game currently. Nothing really comes close to it in that aspect. So if you want to play a stamina type at the highest level, you have to be making WizardRod your first choice for that type of combo before you even consider something else such as like a Silver Wolf or maybe Pegasus Blast. It has to be WizardRod as your first pick. WizardRod's also very good at deflecting and defending against attacks because of its circular design and the fact that the outward weight distribution allows it to stay balanced for a lot longer than other things. So you don't have to worry about being tipped over and things like that by attack types. So you will consistently outspin them if you can survive the attacks, which the circular design allows you to do. And it's very reliable when it does. There's no real way to mess it up per se, but it's always going to be there to score your 1 point, but that's also something that can be seen as a negative. It only is going to score you 1 point on average. It's not going to get you 2 or 3 points in a reliable and consistent manner. You're building your combo to get 1 point and that's it. So if you're looking to score more points, WizardRod isn't going to be your first pick for this, but WizardRod still fills into decks very nicely. The notches in the blade do cause some recoil at times, and it can be enough to throw you into over zones or even the extreme zone. It's happened to me, especially in mirror matches, because they just link together perfectly, and they just send each other across the stadium sometimes. But it doesn't happen enough where it's that big of a negative, but it will still happen. And just changing the bit on Wizard Rod can change the learning curve and the launch style that you have to use with the blade entirely. I know that sounds a little obvious, but it's not super plug and play where it's like I'm playing Wizard Rod, I just launch hard in the middle. Some things you can't really do that with, and depending on what your matchup is, you can't do that either. So my recommended combo, and the one that's going to be featured in the gameplay of this video, is going to be Wizard Rod 660 Hexa. Hexa is probably the best defensive bit that we have currently, and mixing that with the amount of stamina that WizardRod has allows it to be very good as a defense type while still maintaining enough LAD from Hexa to beat Dragoon Elevate. You're not going to beat other stamina types like WizardRod with a ball bit, which is a featured alternative build of WizardRod. But for what the meta is looking like right now, I think this is the best way you can play WizardRod. If you want to play WizardRod as a more pure stamina type, you have 960 and 360 ball or low orb that are just more built to spin for as long as possible and are a bit more risky against attack types, but they are still very powerful combos to be picking in the meta currently if that's what you want to play. Our goals with WizardRod, we're trying to win by spin finish. Like I said, we're not going to be reliably getting over finishes, extreme finishes, burst finishes. Those things are not reliable, so it's not worth trying to go for that unless you're like extremely desperate, you're about to lose, and you don't think you can win the matchup. You have to know your launch tech. You need to be able to employ the correct launch tech depending on the matchup. So against attack types, you need to learn how to do your reverse dashes and things like that to make sure you can keep yourself in the stadium. And you need to make sure you launch in a way to keep you away from the extreme line. One of the biggest weaknesses of Wizard Rod is being knocked into the extreme line and then throwing itself out. You don't want to be giving up points like that easily. You want to force your opponent to be the one that really pushes you into the line. So making sure your combos are balanced out and properly balance tuned is going to be important while using Wizard Rod. Let's go into some gameplay to show off how our Wizard Rod combo works into the meta currently. So hopping into the gameplay here, first battle we have up is my Wizard Rod on Hexa going up against a Dragoon Elevate. Now the way I go about this matchup is nothing too crazy. I'm launching pretty flat and I'm launching around 80% power, so I don't want to be launching too hard and potentially risk getting knocked out. And I just want to be able to launch hard enough where I can push the Dragoon away from me and then use my superior balance and LAD to win the match and a spin finish. So we're gonna launch here. And this combo in general, I feel works better with a fresh Hexa. You don't want one that's too aggressive. And part of that is also just making sure combos are balanced out properly. So in my recommendation, get a fresh Hexa if you really want to play this combo to the fullest potential. It's nice to have a little bit of movement, but you don't want way too much, like I see some Hexas that are more used. And just watching the battle here, they're knocking each other around a bit, but the Hexa naturally wants to sit in the middle, and it wins the spin finish pretty handily. So that's how you win that matchup. It's pretty, I believe it's a bit favored for WizardRod. Some people say it's around 50-50. I think it's a bit past that, maybe 65-35 for WizardRod, especially once you used a more balanced ratchet as opposed to 160, which is more preferred. So this is why, part of the reason why I like 660, outside of also winning the mirror match. The next few matches or I guess for the rest of the matches are now just going to be against attack types, because that's mainly what we're aiming to beat. We're not going to really be able to beat Wizard Rod mirror matches when they are on ball or low orb. We're just not going to have the stamina to really stand up to them in the long run. So the first few matches here are up against Hover Wyvern. And if you didn't notice that launch there, you'll see it in a couple of the other ones as well. I am not launching very hard. So in general, I'm trying to launch around 60 to 70% power at the most. You just need to launch hard enough that you can outspin them in the late game. The harder you launch, the more energy you introduce to the entire system between the two bays. So that creates more energy, so that creates more recoil. And that's not what you want, because any bit of extra energy could be what pushes you into the overzone or the extreme pocket. So we want to be just on that line of launching a little lighter than normal, but not too light where we actually get outspun by the attack types. It's definitely something that you need to work on personally, figure out where you think that range is for you. And getting that down will definitely bump up your win rate with this kind of combo against attack. So this one, that that extreme dash there demonstrates why you want to stay away from the X line as much as possible with any kind of rod combo, especially with Hexa because of the 16 gears. I got pretty lucky there. I could have definitely ended up in the overzone or the extreme zone after those two X dashes. Luckily, we just hit the wall and then we bounce back into the stadium body. And now we're just going to chill out and win by the spin finish here. Nothing too crazy. The hover in this match was launched a little too flat in my opinion. So that's just the basis of our launch here. We're going to put it in practice a bit more, but main goal, launch semi-light, not too light where you get outspun, but not too hard where you're going to actually introduce too much energy into the equation and get KO'd yourself. This is up against Aero Pegasus here. Same thing, just lit launch, and we're not trying for any stalls, nothing flashy with this. We don't need to. Hexa has enough defense on its own. We don't need to avoid early. We can honestly tank the hits pretty early. This one I believe is up against Tyrannobeat. Yep. And same thing. We're just gonna launch lighter here, and this Rod Hex is tanking these hits. Oh, and this is the Tyrannobeat off the X-Rail. So that just demonstrates the raw defense this combo has. And that's with, like I said, don't need the launch hard. I just want to emphasize that very much. You do not need the launch hard. Now, this next battle here, I do a slight variation of my launch. I'm not just launching flat here. This is a technique I've been doing on X side with this combo up against people that are kind of just tilting hard into the middle of the stadium. And what you do, it's a very light flick. We'll let the video play. So it's a very light flick. We're not flicking all the way to the outside of the stadium. We're trying to stay within the inner ridge. But all we want to do is get in our opponent's way here. So we're going to draw the path out for you. We just want to throw our bay around here and let it slowly drift over. like this. And we're still light launching this, by the way. We're not launching any harder than normal. And all the goal here is to just disrupt our opponent. We don't want them to really leave this inner circle here. So since they are a right spin attack type, their natural path is to go this way and then go around. But now we're in the way of this. So what's going to happen is we're going to bump each other. They're not going to really get much of anything out of this because for one, we have this whole back wall and this wall to protect us. And two, they're not actually getting a lot of speed into this. So all that's going to happen is they're going to bump us and then we're going to push them back. So sometimes you can even score some very cheeky over finishes this way, but most of the time what's going to happen is you're going to bump them back, and then they're going to be stuck in the center part for even longer, wasting more and more time. And you may even end up getting them again if they don't go back far enough. And the whole goal is to disrupt the center of the stadium, take up as much room as you can from them. Don't let them get up to speed until it is too late. So we're gonna let the video start playing again. And they self over finish here, but most of this is just from our launch here. They don't even get a chance to really get a good attack off. So we're gonna frame by frame this. So you can see my left hand here, just a very subtle flick, nothing too major. Just a very subtle flick at the start of the launch. It's gonna keep us within the bowl, but not going too far. We're still gonna drift to the middle, and that's because we have a fresher hexa bit. We're not rounded off yet. We're still pretty sharp, and we're gonna bump. They are gonna go back. We're gonna catch the back wall, but that's fine with us. And after that little bump that they got, they're still stuck in the middle, still stuck in the middle, still stuck in the middle, still stuck. And they don't even get out on the second loop around. It takes them 3 loops to get around to an X dash, and then they miss, and then they just go in the pocket. So that's all the strategy. We only use this strategy really on X side. There's a variation that I do on B side that's a little less, I would say, successful than this one because of the way the bays work out with their pathing. But it still works a little bit. You kind of just slide the bay slightly from around here, and it just goes in. And if they happen to be looping around, you'll catch them. But that's the main launch tech I've been doing with Rod Hexa against other attack types. Nothing too crazy. It's very easy to learn and very easy to implement. So if you're playing this combo, maybe look to implement it if you think your opponent's going to be trying some kind of launch like this. I think our next battle here is up against a Phoenix Wing. And this Phoenix Wing just doesn't get a decent hit on us. And we're eventually just going to outlast them. Don't think we do anything too crazy here at the start. Like I said, we're just light launching. Pretty much the game plan here. So this actually, I do go for the little slide bump kind of thing. And it misses, but you know what? We were going to end up in the middle anyway. So it doesn't even make that much of a difference to try to go for it. There's very little risk in trying to go for it. A drop launch could kind of counter you, but I trust this Rod Hexa to take the full brunt of any attack type, honestly, and survive. If they catch us and they knock us out, is what it is. I believe in this combo enough that I do not think that something will KO it that often, especially off of a drop launch, because they won't have the speed that an X dash would. So if you can take the full brunt of an X dash, I think you can take a drop launch too. You're just going to outlast this Phoenix Wing. No problem. This one is up against Nightmail. If you watched the Nightmail guide I made previously, we know this is a very tough match for Nightmail to win. And even when Nightmail gets the Rod Hexa tipped over, the superior balance of WizardRod will straighten itself out very quickly, especially on the cone-shaped Hexa bit, and the Nightmail just can't get under it, and it's just gonna fall over and die. And yeah, so that's how we apply some different small launch tech. Main thing is the launch power that you want to focus on. The only time you're going to really full power launch this combo is maybe against Dragoon, and if you're trying your best to beat a stamina type. Your only real uh, way of winning against stamina is just going to be destabilizing them with big hits or maybe just getting a lucky KO. You can kind of chalk those matches up to just losing the 1 point and just moving on. You can try some desperation strats if you want, but nothing is going to be guaranteed. If you made it to the end of the video, drop a comment and let me know what combos you've been liking with WizardRod. And let me know what other blades you'd like to see a competitive guide made for. If you're new here and want to catch up on all my other content, check out the playlist on the screen. And if you'd like to see even more from me, check out the post section of my Metafy page down in the description. I'll catch you guys later.